In this video, you will learn to decode the mysterious cognitive functions contained in each four-letter personality type. Hi, I'm Paul Sacco, and I'm a certified MBTI practitioner. I'm also the author of Strategy Quest, the executive guide for finding business opportunities. One of the things I write about in my book is how our personality type influences our approach to business strategy. Recall that there are 16 personality types, each represented by 4 letters. The 2 middle letters in each type represent its cognitive functions. The second letter in the type represents the perceiving function, and the third letter represents the judging function of the type. The perceiving cognitive function is concerned with how we process information, while the judging cognitive function is concerned with how we make decisions. After taking the MBTI personality assessment, you'll find that the second letter in your type is either an S representing sensing or an N representing intuition, and you'll gain a general understanding of what each cognitive function represents. Likewise, you will find that the judging function of each type can be either a T for thinking or an F for feeling, and you will gain a general understanding of each. However, when we drill down to understand the cognitive functions on a deeper level, we learn that types with the same cognitive functions can have very different personalities. This is because these cognitive functions operate very differently. For example, sensing for an ISTJ is not the same as sensing for an ISTP, and their thinking functions are different too. The reason that each cognitive function can work differently is that they can have either an extroverted or introverted attitude. So the reality is that there are 8 different cognitive functions. The dynamic approach to personality type relies on an understanding of the introverted or extroverted version of each cognitive function. As illustrated here, of the 8 cognitive functions, an INTJ has a preference for introverted intuition and extroverted thinking. Personally, I find it more straightforward to understand personality type using the dynamic approach. Now I'm going to show you how to decode the cognitive functional attitudes that make up a personality type. For the INTJ personality type, the perceiving function is intuition represented by an N, and the judging function is thinking represented by a T. We can determine the attitude of each of the cognitive functions of a personality type simply by looking at the last letter. This last letter informs us of the cognitive function that is extroverted. In the case of the INTJ, the J indicates that the judging function is extroverted. If the judging function is extroverted, the perceiving function is automatically introverted. So now we know that the INTJ has a preference for introverted intuition and extroverted thinking. If we had been looking at the INTP personality type, the P would indicate that the perceiving function is extroverted, and that would make the thinking function introverted. So now that we've decoded the second, third, and fourth letter of a 4-letter personality type, let's figure out how to use the first letter. It turns out that the first letter indicates which cognitive function attitude is dominant. Since the first letter of an INTJ is an I, introverted intuition is the dominant cognitive function attitude of this type. This means that thinking is automatically the auxiliary cognitive function attitude of the INTJ. We tend to approach situations through the lens of the dominant and auxiliary functions of our type. but this is a subject for future videos. For your convenience, here's a table with the dominant and auxiliary functions decoded for the 16 personality types. You might want to pause the lesson here and take note of the dominant and auxiliary cognitive functions for your personality type. I'll explain the interaction between the dominant and auxiliary cognitive function in an upcoming lesson. You might think you know what introversion and extroversion are, but when it comes to the cognitive functions, you'll want to expand your understanding. So watch my next video, what introversion and extroversion means. If you'd like to enrich your life by understanding your personality type, click on the link below for my formal online MBTI assessment. To keep up with my latest videos on personality type and business, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.